So here again, let me tell it that I want to input height in centimeters, weight in kg, and I don't know the gender, so give me for both. And once again, I will let the model improve the code based on these clarifications. And the fixed code now assumes that the weight is in kg. Again, you observe it has reverted to the old choice of variable names. Now this is a little bit surprising because in general the model that lives inside the IDE is more careful with variable names, but you notice that in this case it has gone back to the old names, and once again it has produced code similar to ChatGPT. The major difference between this code and the code that ChatGPT produced was this code also tries to handle errors using this syntax that we have not seen, and here again it suggests an error message. This may not have been the error message that we wanted, but it has made an assumption that this is a useful error message to give to the user. So let us try this piece of code in Python Tutor and make sure we understand how it works. So here we are in Python Tutor. You can see that the red arrow is on line 6. We have skipped past all these comments. Now, we haven't yet seen this syntax, so we're going to ignore this for now, and we're simply going to click on Next and get to the portion of the code that we understand. Here are those input statements, and let me enter the same information that I did last time. I enter my age as 48, I enter my weight as 75, and I enter my height as 172. Now it calculates the BMI, it calculates the BMR for males and for females, it calculates the IBW for males and for females, and finally it prints the results. And after it has done printing these results, all of which are up here, it is ready to quit. It is the end of the program. So this extra piece of code that my AI suggested only works if I enter illegal values. So let me give you an example of an illegal value. I will enter an age that cannot be converted into an int. And this time I will enter an illegal age. So let us say I enter my age as 48. This is a string. This string will be returned by the input function. But then when the int function tries to convert this string 48 in words into an integer, it will fail. So let us see that. When I click on Next, when I click on Submit, I get red lines indicating an error. This is telling us that this is an invalid literal for int. You cannot give me the string 48 and expect the int function to convert that into an integer. But this program, instead of printing this rather hard to read error message, will in fact jump to the new piece of code that my AI had created. So my AI knew that when I enter these values, I might actually get a value error, which was exactly the error type that my AI was showing me earlier. And because of that, it had written this piece of code to detect that error. And in that situation, instead of showing the user this hard to read technical error, it's instead giving us this more easy to read statement, and this is the statement that would get printed. So I tried to enter 48 and it says invalid input. Please enter numeric values for age, weight, and height. Now this particular code could fail for other reasons. For example, it turns out that in this formula for BMI, I am dividing by the square of the height in meters. Well, what if I entered the numeric value 0 for my height? Of course, I'm not 0 centimeters tall, but if I gave that particular input, let us see what this code would do. So I run the code again. I enter my age. This time let me put a numeric value for my age. And let me also put a numeric value for my weight. Let us say 0 kg. And let us put another numeric value for my height. Let us say 0 centimeters. Now when I hit submit, it is ready to calculate on line 13 my BMI, this time with weight 0 and height 0. And of course, in this case, when I do that calculation, I will get an error. But this is not a value error. It's a different type of error called a zero division error. I'm trying to divide 0 by 0 squared. And of course, 0 squared is 0, and that is producing an error. But this is not an error that my AI-generated code was expecting. It had code for value error in case I entered something that was not numeric, but my AI was not smart enough to anticipate that I might get a zero division error. So you see, the AI can be helpful, but it at this point is not clever enough to anticipate all kinds of situations. It often makes assumptions. Those assumptions may be sensible, but they may not be the ones that we want.